we start off, as I was indicating, from the Ashaiman community, just as we have it, pictures from the community today. The slain soldier at the center of the military brutalities has been laid to rest. The 22-year-old is Imoro, who was a military serviceman from Sunyani, of course, has been laid to rest. But matters relating to his death are yet to be settled. On your screens right now are images from the funeral that took place earlier today. But my colleague Maxwell Abuba was there and now reports.
Burma camp. Okay. So when we got to Burma camp, they were training us. They were training us for some time before they called us for interview. And moreover, to the high-ranking military people over there weren't allowing them to touch us. But when they try to touch us, they don't let them see that they are touching us. Yeah, that's when they will start to beat you. If the high-ranking people, high-ranking military men are not looking at us, that's where they try to beat us.
You also have marks on your body?
Yeah, I do have marks on.
Let me see that. Whoa. Wait, what caused this? What did they use to beat you?
Any weapon they having on their hands. Others were using rope.
Oh no! You no. Wait, yeah, I know. He still has some bruises behind him, but we can't show that on TV.
They were using.
These are assault marks behind you.
Yes, sir.
What kind of weapons?
Others were using neem tree branches and cables, PVC pipes, and all types of things that they are holding.
So when were you released? Were you released on the same day?
Yeah, I was released on the same day around 11 p.m. as my college friend said it.
So you were also only in boxer shorts?
Yes.
No singlet or anything?
No dress.
And they dropped you at what?
Ashaiman roundabout.
He has marks all over his body. Let me see. So this is his leg. This is the exact spot where the 21-year-old Sheriff Imoro fell. Residents here tell me that they discovered the body here early in the morning. We're told that he had run from a distance of about 300 meters after he was stabbed, but couldn't continue with his journey and then fell right here. And this is the point where the community people discovered the body. I've been speaking to some of the residents, and one of the people I've been speaking to is Beatrice Kpochu. Beatrice Kpochu's husband was forcibly taken away by the military after he stepped out to attend to a call of nature. Beatrice Kpochu tells me that she only realized when she came out and saw her husband's slippers and toothbrush outside their home. She says her husband is the breadwinner of the family, and now that he's been taken away, she's not heard from him since Tuesday. She says their child, a little girl, is unwell, but she's unable to take her to the hospital because she does not have the money.
So, and any 3 days, I'm going to Friday night, I'm going to see a canamikunu near around or sorry, or by Saturday 2 o'clock.
Okay, well, she says that the incident happened on Friday. Friday when the incident happened, her husband was not at home. He had gone to church and then returned on Saturday, we say.
Saturday 2 o'clock, no.
Saturday 2 o'clock, no by. Came back home at Saturday 2 o'clock in the morning, area. Saturday in the afternoon, okay.
Tuesday night, 70 and no pono, nim said, Bibi, because we are wanting to all private, and I'm witching. Into the pop up, I remember who in pop and I mean who in brush or the place we are wanting.
He says, well, she says on Tuesday when the military stormed this community, her husband had stepped out to attend to nature's call. At the point when he stepped out, that was when he was picked up by the military. She says she came out and then saw the toothbrush that he was using outside, right outside, and then his slippers also outside here. And from Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then Thursday, what's the one thing?
Like one frame is to 3 days near Aqualano Pony home fan. 3 days near, or no Coban Sana Yedi. 3 days near me and Didier. Minis Council Media Aqualani Beco Hospital.
Oh, she's very distressed. She says that since the husband was picked up by the military on Tuesday, she's not heard anything from him. She says that her child is sick. She's unable to take the little girl to the hospital because she does not have money to do that. Since Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Obiantin and Kai, woman, and you're morning,
Pacho musomu hunu wo ba no ankasa no de won frɛ me ba me bisa nkofo na mobile omukɔ hɔ no mobile ne de musomu hunu wo ama ni nan po apra ni simba ku ni ha se ya hu no ntimi nanti papa.
Well, she says personally she's not heard anything from her husband, but she says for those who were with him, who were arrested together with him, they said they saw him with a swollen cheek and also injured, has a leg injury also, but she has not heard anything, from the husband. Where did
didi oni ho onu na ko bansa na ye didi like miniska minye juma miniska onu na ko bansa na di bibia ni ho fiti anopa min didi ye 3 days ni min didi ye okomu di mi ba miniska me didi ho ache on like oni ho ache na me ko ansa na me ma miniska me didi mini obia jiso onupe na ko bansa na ye didi no hu hwi omunja no no mbrefi onu na be hwe wamba minya ska fa ankola ni ko hospital.
David Kemi is a former teacher. He has a deep cut on his head, and then he also has some assault marks at his back. He says the soldiers who meted out those beatings to them must be made to face the full rigors of the law. He says many of the residents here are innocent and had no idea about what happened to the slain soldier.
Somewhere 4 o'clock, I opened my gate. When I opened the gate, I saw the armor car under the shade of the tree, just at the back of the shade of the tree, and one commando here, standing here, and he used the gun on me. So asked me to come. So I thought he needed an information. But then I was my boxer. I didn't know anything. So when I came, he just asked me to go closer. But then the water was on the ground. So when I was there, before I could realize, about 3 of his team came around and started slapping me. And then they asked me to roll on the ground. In the process, I saw a woman. There's a market closer here, Ashaiman Market. The woman also was going to the market. They asked her to put things down, and she asked her to join me. As an elderly woman, a man was traveling, but then they asked him, and because the man was not responding, they started beating him. So we're beating the 3 of us, and then they asked her to do pressure. In the process, then they marched out to the junction. Before I could realize, I see the bigger armor car with about over 100 commandos armed with the various, tools. I mean, stick, iron rod, or what have you. About 100. So they started beating us. In fact, I received about over 50 again because they come on rotation. This person will beat you, another person will follow up. The stick, the various cane to beat under your foot, on your buttocks, at the back, on your head. But this cut is from the belt. The belt that the man lose the belt and they hit it, and I was trying to parade it, and I had a cut.
Is this his belt?
I don't.
You were trying to use his belt on your head?
Yeah, the belt. There's a metal on the belt. Mm-hmm. There's a metal. So they started beating up from 4:30 to 6 o'clock.
Goswe Kumakil is one of the organizers of a press conference calling for justice and punishment for the perpetrators of Tuesday's brutality. Goswe tells me that he was beaten in this neighborhood and then taken to Michelle camp and then later to Burma camp, where they were subjected to another round of beatings. He says they were left around 11:30 p.m. and they came back home in their boxer shorts. He has been narrating the harrowing situation. He has been narrating his ordeal to me.
People were naked in clothes, nothing was on them. We were beaten excessively to the extent that it was 8 a.m. when they brought their car, took us to military Michelle camp. We were detained at Michelle camp for about 3 to 4 hours when they went for another operation at Ashaiman Military and brought another suspect of about 100 and something to join us. So with that, they said, oh, then their head office, the big men at the high hierarchy hut wants to have an interrogation with that at Burma camp. With that, the hut, they came for us from the military Michelle camp to Burma camp in an hours of 4 p.m. So we went to Burma camp from 4 p.m. At Burma camp, we were drilled.
So the first place you were taken to was Michelle camp.
Michelle camp.
And then from Michelle camp, you were taken to Burma camp.
We were taken to Burma camp, where the military police were and the investigation was done. Whilst the investigation are done, we were beaten by the military men that are there. That while they are hurt, their friend was asking for help. We, the community, did not give them help. And so far with that also, they said we Ashaiman people are on hot social media platform saying that soldiers have nothing to do with us. But we, some people, have nothing to do with social media. So we, some of us who have been victimized, are really innocent of this victim, and we know nothing about this.
So at Burma camp, what happened at Burma camp? Were you subjected to further beatings?
Oh, we are beaten totally. We were beaten. You roll on the floor. You eat like a dog on the floor. They'll stamp on you.
Wait, what were you eating on the floor?
You know, like a friend will hold you like this. Eh? Let me show you. Oh, bugger. Like you sleep like this. Like this. You'll be like this. Then one person will hold your leg. Then you'll be like this. Like this. Then you'll be walking. So we did this for over 3 to 4 hours. After this exercise, you will roll on the floor. You roll on to excessively that the award dogs will be following you. When you are in this condition and you want to have a nature score living, they said 1 second, 2 seconds, which is not good because we are human beings and we have our right to speak for ourselves, and we want justice to prevail. So thank you very much.
At what time did they leave you?
Well, we are left. They left us around 10:30 that way.
Okay.
And they took us from official town, but bringing us home, they left us at Timber Market with only a boxer short and no tops.
Wait, when you were going, were you wearing a shirt?
We were not. We were picked up from official town with no top.
You were not allowed to wear anything?
We are not allowed to wear dress. Okay. We are bare-chested like my gentleman, but with only boxer shorts. From here to Michelle camp to Burma camp. In bringing us back, we were left at Timber Market, the runabout, naked like that, for us to come back to our residence, which is not good.
Another resident, Malto Dupe, who says he was also beaten by the soldiers, says justice must be served, and it must be served now.
It's unfair. It's unfair. Look at me. Did I have the courage to beat a military man? Look at me very well. Am I so fit and beat a military man or kill a military man? Even when I want to kill a fowl, I feel pretty to kill a cow. A fowl. Why is all this? We want justice. Justice, those who are from whatever they are, come down here and do this kind of unnecessary things, they have to bring them to book. It's not good at all. Where is the human right? The human right that we are talking about every day. Even the government itself is talking about human right. Where is our right? Where is our right right now? You see?
Well, you may want to call it the unfortunate incident that transpired within the Ashaiman constituency. I want to bring in now former Deputy Attorney General Joseph Dinyok-Penka. Thank you, sir, for your time here on The Pulse. Already we are seeing the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice condemn this act. The Commissioner speaking to me last night on the sidelines of the Ghana-EU dialogue, indicating clearly that this is unacceptable. Do you agree?
My brother, good afternoon to your cherished viewers, and good afternoon to your good self. I do agree with the assessment that it is unacceptable, especially considering the fact that we gave this type of conduct a decent burial as Ghanaians on the 7th of January 1993. I think that such conducts, we have actually as a people agreed to put them behind us and move forward as a nation. And my brother, just briefly, so we put ourselves in context. Let's look at Article 15 of our Constitution, and that will give us a guide. Article 15 of our Constitution, 1992, says that the dignity of all persons shall be inviolate. No person shall, whether or not he is arrested, restricted, or detained, be subjected to torture or other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, and any other condition that detracts or is likely to detract from his dignity and worth as a human being. So clearly, the Constitution itself, Article 15, is categorical that whether or not you have arrested the person for committing an offense, you should not subject the person to such inhuman and degrading treatment to detract the person from his humanity. So it is a constitutional matter you are dealing with here, under specifically the Fundamental Human Rights and Freedom section, Chapter 5 of our Constitution. So preliminarily, I will say that I agree totally with the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to the extent that the Act itself is clearly unconstitutional and an affront to the dignity and integrity of the persons who were so molested and treated to that extent. So clearly, I do agree with him, and I want to say also that the Commission, if it so desires to look into the matter, is clothed with the powers to do so, specifically under Section 71A and 13A of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Act 1993 Act 456. So the Commission has the right to make an inquiry into whatever happened, and I think that we need to, as a people, take a decision and act decisively to avert the recurrence of such events that we had agreed in totality to have them set aside perpetually on the 7th of January 1993.
And you've seen the statement from the military, for instance, indicating their position on this matter. They say that this was an intelligence-led exercise and the operation led to the discovery of some materials believed to be Indian hemp, for instance. So it was an anti-criminal raid, if we may target as such. Will there be an opening in the law for the military to do that?
Well, I can say again that the military could have gone about their duty to effect the arrest without the inhumane treatment that were meted out to some of the residents. I say this because, you see, the only time that the military is called in to act and act decisively is when the police are unable to perform their duties because there's an escalating situation in the circumstances. You know that internal security is squarely within the ambit of the police. It is only when the police most times are unable to act because the situation has escalated to a certain level that they call in the military to come in and quell it. Otherwise, their duty is to defend us against external aggression only. So I have not been told that the police indicated that they were unable to handle the issue as it were, and they invited the military in. If I were told this, then I would to some extent buy into the idea that the action was actually lawful. But once I am not privy to any clue at all that the police indicated that they were unable to bring peace to the community or they were unable to effect arrest or arrest was being resisted and as a result called in the military, I will as of now stick to the constitutional position that whatever it is, the conduct was far-fetched and ought not to have been carried out, especially so when there had not been any indication that the police were unable to perform their functions in that respect.
And we know that there are a number of avenues for these residents to use, but no sort of action ever since this incident occurred. I guess it's because the military is the one carrying out the exercise. Because, for instance, we have the military police taking custody of some 180 persons or so, or less. And yet the Ghana Police Service is not able to issue a statement on what the next steps will be. All of these persons in if you want to call it an unlawful detention. What's your take on the remedial measures that individuals who have their rights abused, what do you feel that they could take advantage of in the law? If you can hear me, sir, I was just asking for the remedies that...
Lawyers will have to proceed immediately if those who are actually to court. Yes, that's what I'm just addressing. Lawyers can file habeas corpus in a court. In other words, they will file a process in the High Court asking the High Court to compel the police to disclose, to produce the persons who are being detained and to explain the reasons for their detention. Because remember also that there's a constitutional injunction that those persons cannot be kept for more than 48 hours. And so if after 48 hours they have not been put before court, lawyers contacted by those people who are being detained can file a habeas corpus process in the High Court for the police to produce them and show cause why they should not be freed and why they are being kept in custody, failing which the court will have to discharge them until the appropriate things are being done. But as I have indicated earlier, whatever the situation is, you can't effect arrest without meting out the type of brutality, because I can see some of the horrifying pictures on your videos respecting some of the persons who were actually assaulted and brutalized by the military. So I will say again, and that without a shadow of doubt, that actions need to be taken by court to vindicate the rights of the people who have been detained. Because remember that in constitutional democracy such as ours, it is the rule of law and not the rule of the mighty. And so if we have to go by the constitutional dictates in Chapter 5 of our Constitution, which we actually as a people crafted them based on our history, then I think that it is time for us to test some of these actions in court. And remember that even the people are not, will not be wrong if they were to take a class action against the military in the state for the abuses that were meted out to them.
But what could happen? For instance, the military will not be willing to give out the names of individuals who went on that operation. So if this matter even goes to court, what would be the respite for those who have had their rights abused?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't become the responsibility of the individual soldiers who did the abuse. It becomes then the responsibility of the Ghana Armed Forces and then the responsibility of the state. Remember that the state is enjoined by law to protect the rights of individuals. And so if the state acts in a manner through its agents that abuses the rights of the citizens, then the citizens have a cause of action against the state. You remember that in the Ashanti region a year or two ago, when some people were suspected to be armed robbers and shot dead, and later it was found out not to be the case, they were actually compensated by the government to ensure that those people who were killed, their relatives, had some level of compensation. So, as I said, it is the state that individuals will now be targeted, because those people who acted in the name of the armed forces and the state.
You've served at the Ministry of Justice. What's your expectation from the Attorney General, given the fact that he controls the ministry?
Well, again, here the Attorney General, remember that he has the right to squarely under Article 88. He's the only one who initiates proceedings. In this particular case, one will expect, and I know you will act decisively, and advise the armed forces and the government as to the remedies that are available to the affected victims, and possibly suggest ways by which compensation could be paid to these individuals to help ameliorate their suffering and put this issue to rest. It is a slur and a blunt in our march towards consolidating our human rights engaged, and we need to do everything possible so that such things do not recur. First of all, we have to sympathize with the family of the deceased soldier, and we have to commiserate with the family of the deceased soldier and condemn whoever was involved in the act of killing the soldier. But the reprisal attacks that knew no bounds and touched so many innocent people ought to be looked at and expeditiously dealt with for us to deepen our democracy as a nation.
And finally, going forward, what sort of mechanisms should we be framing to forestall some of these happening?
Yes, you see, I was, at the beginning, when I heard it, I thought that it was maybe a few overzealous members of the military that heard of the issue and went and invaded the community and did what happened. But it looks like from the release that was made, there's an official sanction and etc. And so I think that as a people, it will not even be far-fetched if we put in place a commission of inquiry to look at the matter so that they can make recommendations to forestall future occurrences of matters related to this. Because if we just, even for now, do pay some compensation to the victims and the matter ends there, could we not be having it recurring in future? And if we have a commission of inquiry look at this matter and make recommendations to government as to what could happen to forestall future occurrences such as this, I think it will serve as a guide and it will actually deepen our democracy the more and take our human rights fight to another level.
I'm grateful for your time and for spending some time with us here on The Pulse. That's Joseph Didiok, former Deputy Attorney General. Well, last night I caught up with the Commissioner for the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, and I asked him what his thoughts were about this incident.
Township that, because of their person's interest, they come take over the law and do what they want. But we are coming out with our statement. I want my statement to speak for me.
But do you condemn the acts because the military?
I completely condemn it. I completely condemn it. That is, it's degrading, dehumanizing and degrading treatment to put such persons who are going to their work, arrest them, make them do press-ups in mud, sitting down with all their clothing removed, apart from some briefs, is completely unacceptable. And that this is exacted by the army of Ghana is completely unacceptable. Any defense of it by any leadership of the military is certainly a misplaced, support. We need to call what is wrong, wrong. And this is completely wrong.
Would you want to urge for calm in the community because there are fears that there may be reprisals?
Yes, of course. The military still have weapons that they can always apply. So the society, the community of Ashaiman should hold themselves and allow lawful bodies like the Ghana police and others to investigate and take the right steps. Triage and others, when called upon, will also undertake the necessary. Because we are the ombudsman and we can investigate military issues when the military go beyond their normal duty and affects the rights of people. We can't hold them accountable.
In this case, you do that?
It has to be on the basis of a complaint.
And the position of the commission there. But just to place this into context, of course, the military had indicated earlier that this was an intelligence-led operation. A lot has been unfolding in Parliament, but here are excerpts of what it is that the military had to say about the swoop in Ashaiman, indicating that categorically the military operation was sanctioned by the military high command and was not to avenge the killing of the soldier, but rather to fish out the perpetrators of the heinous crime. Well, in Parliament, just before we get there, the military further indicated that, of course, they picked up about 184 suspects aged between 21 and 47 years old and have since handed over these individuals to the military police. They are indicating also that they will be subsequently sent to the Ghana Police Service for screening and for further action on this. Beyond that, the personnel seized some 29 slabs and 57 mini slabs suspected to be Indian hemp and amnesia, amongst other forms of narcotics. The swoop was not targeted, according to the military, at innocent civilians, but was conducted on suspected hideouts of criminals and crime-prone areas in the general area. For now, we know that the police says that some of the innocent persons might have been caught up in that operation and consequently suffered some distress due to the location they found themselves. The Ghana Armed Forces is urging the general public to provide useful information to support the security agencies in weeding out criminals and miscreants from that area. the Defence Minister. And Bruce Derry has been to Parliament. He's been explaining circumstances leading to the attack and what's being done about it.
It do happen. We are shaping up a country, and we are going to have some of these incidents, regrettable incidences happening there. But I will still appeal to the people of Ghana to be very respectful of people in uniform. It will help all of us. But we cannot say, I will not say anything until the committee itself and us have gone on Thursday to the place and visited the place to ascertain for ourselves. One of the reasons why we are not going immediately is that investigation is still ongoing. We don't want to compromise whatever investigation that will happen. And that's why we task our colleagues to tone down on the statement so that we can all work together as unison to ensure that this tricky situation is brought under control. We want a peaceful Ghana, that's all. So after Thursday, you will be hearing from us. Thank you very much.
So that's Dominic Nitu giving us an update on what will be done about this. But from Parliament, the Committee on Interior and Defence has also been stating its position on the matter. Let's listen to Kennedy Ejapon, who's the chair of the committee.
Met and we've come to an agreement that the members of the committee, the Minister of Defence and the Military High Command will pay a visit on Thursday to Ashaiman to dialogue with the people of Ashaiman as well as the Military High Command. So for the meantime, we pleaded with our honorable member from Ashaiman. I don't wish to be in his shoes. Normally he's very loud on the committee, but today what I counts will say, Bema Emre. He's so worried. I haven't seen him so down like this before, which means it has taken a toll on him, and we all sympathize with him. On behalf of the committee, we want to sympathize with the bereaved, the young soldiers' family, and also sympathize with the affected victims, those who were innocently beaten. They were not part of it, but unfortunately they got to a scene where they were not supposed to be. Or even I heard some of them were in their various homes and they came out and beat them. I think we all have to admit as human beings that there were excesses, and therefore we sympathize with the people of Ashaiman. At the same time, we also sympathize with the Ghana Armed Forces for our young men taking the law into their own hands to kill one of theirs. But a situation like this, all we can say is that we need peace. We, as members of the committee, cannot inflame passions by going there to make comments that will annoy a faction. We are not to do that. Our mission is to make sure we have peace in this country. The unfortunate incident that happened, we have all condemned it. And Minister has even apologized on behalf of the military that they admit that there were excesses. So we are here.
Well, so we do know that certainly by Thursday there'll be some action on this from the Parliamentary Committee. Let's get to the breakdown in terms of what we've been tracking so far, dating back all the way to 2017 on key incidents in which the military was accused of brutalities. And it starts off from February 7, where, of course, 4 died after a joint military police task force allegedly opened fire in a crowd at Fonsi in the Echumakoma area. The reason, obviously, was that they were protesting against the siting of the Echumakoma district capital instead of Fonsi. Then, fast forward to May 30 of 2017, we heard of that unfortunate incident as well, the murder of that slain soldier, Major Mahama. Major Maxwell Mahama was part of the military troops that, of course, were stationed in Denture Boise. But, of course, when the military heard of the incident, they stormed and punished the villagers in the community. In April of the same year, a 28-year-old man was shot dead in the Ashaiman community again, where this incident is happening. It happened around the market, and it was part of the enforcement of the COVID-19 lockdown protocols. Fast forward into July of that same year, the armed soldiers raided 5 homes in Hunter in the Ho West district, and they were obviously accused of hosting some Togolese contracted to take some exercises in the Volta region, a reason for which the soldiers raided the home of the residents of Ho West. So that's it in 2017. But in June of 2021, a joint team of police and military officers declared residents of Ejira. That incident that led to the setup of the Ejira committee by the Interior Ministry. Of course, that incident led to the unfortunate death of 2 individuals. 9 persons were injured, and it was all over the protest of killing of some social activist known as Ibrahim Mohammed Kaka, who was part of the Fix the Country movement. Then, in July of that same year, 86 soldiers in Wa stormed Tindama and brutalized some residents of the area. The allegation was that there was simply the theft of a smartphone, and that's why, of course, we had the 86 soldiers in Wa storming the Tindana area and brutalizing individuals. The latest that we can all recall has got to do with the happenings in parts of the eastern region, the Lower Manyakrobo municipality, and the issues of the installation of prepaid meters subject to residents who refused to accept the metering system. And of course, they subjected the residents to some beatings, and the Electricity Company of Ghana, of course, we heard from their management supporting that exercise, which led to some controversies and in fact clashes between residents of the area and, of course, the military contingent that was deployed to carry out the exercise with the ECG officials. So these are some of the cases that we do know of. And we'll be back with more on this. Stay with us here on the Joy News channel. You're watching The Pulse. We'll be right back.